The Grow My Cleaning Company podcast helps owners of cleaning companies just like you to grow your company and yourself so you can make more money and finally get the time and money freedom that probably got you into this business. Discover how to automate and create systems that allow you to grow like crazy without losing control. If you dig the show and want to show some love, subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes. It really helps. Enjoy the show. Hey, Cleaning Nation, Mike Campion here with one of my favorite people. Also a brand new Next Level member. Can't wait to meet this guy in Vegas here in a couple of months. Irvin Ackerman. This guy's got a wife, he's got kids, started Clean Environmental Solutions in 2019, serving commercial clients in Albany, New York. The big reason, I've got a lot of reasons I'm excited to see him, but the big one is this guy has a non-janitorial company that's still service-based on site, I believe, but a lot of his work is one-time, not recurring. And he kind of saw the writing on the wall and was like, that's seasonal, the value, the value, asset value of it's low because it's not recurring. And he's like, what would happen if I added some sort of recurring service to it? And he's been doing really well for just, making that change a couple months ago. So I thought it'd be great to get him in. So that's my side of what's going on in your world. Irvin, talk to me kind of how it felt, what your business was looking and feeling like before we talked, and what made you reach out to us.
Yeah, so I started the company, the construction side, about 3 years ago, and we're crushing it. We're doing good. And then year after year, I'm like, I start the year and I have to repeat the whole process over. So like I would start the new year with no business on the table. Like, yes, we have jobs booked and things of that nature, but I just like, there's got to be another way. I mean, we do 100 jobs a year, and it's always what's the next job after we're finished. It's never like a downtime where you could say, oh, we have things. So I was feeling that strain and thinking about that. And I was on Instagram one day. I just hopped on Instagram and I saw your ad and I'm like, oh shit. Filled out the form, and then you called me directly while I was doing a tile job at Taco Bell.
Don't tell people that. I usually don't do the call, so I don't want everyone to think if they're calling. Sometimes, but we have
I'm special. I'm special. Yeah.
Irvin is absolutely special.
Yeah. So, and you said that to me. I don't normally do these, but today you got me.
Well, now you told all of Cleaning Nation, so that now they're like, oh, I'll call Michael. Just call me right up. Yeah, I'll try, but there's just one of me.
Yeah, and we talked about it, and I was telling you we had a state contract for post-construction cleaning, and we did like 45,000 on it, but then it just stopped. And you're talking to me about about getting the cleaning contracts, and I was like, I really enjoy the cleaning, and our guys are good, and we're good at it. There's got to be a better way to have some ongoing income. So that's how we got in there.
So that's a perfect breakdown from the owner view of like, hey, here's why I want ongoing work as opposed to one time. From a coach's perspective and someone that's done a bunch of businesses, both recurring with and without recurring revenue, let me give you some more color in that as other things that in Irvin will probably go, oh yeah, I forgot that does suck. So a couple of things, just like Irvin said, it's like, what have you done for me lately? Right. I remember I sold my construction company and it had like $2 million in receivables. And for that company, we had a very long sales cycle. You might, hear about a bid and then you bid on it. The actual bid comes out in 2 or 3 months and you actually do a bid and they actually open it, a month or two after that, and then award it, in a couple of weeks. And then, we were doing shade structures, which are kind of at the end of the thing. So it might be a year-long project. And it was like, and then you don't get paid for 4 months. It was just a long process. So he had a couple $1 million in work that was contracted. And he felt pretty good. I kept going, you got to sell. You got to sell. What you're going to sell today, you're going to get paid on in a year or two. If you wait a year or two and you're like, oh my gosh, I need some contracts, you're going to be screwed. Because when's the best time to plant a tree? 10 years ago. If you need shade now, you can't plant it now. You ain't going to have any luck, right? So that piece of the business sucks. The other piece is every time I did a job, and I'm guessing the same with construction cleanup, same with construction itself, you're rolling those dice. If you're good, you have an idea what it's going to cost in terms of time and money, but crap goes wrong. Things happen. We make mistakes. Less mistakes, the better you get at it, but never none. I don't know any construction companies like, yeah, I nailed every bid I did this year. No, probably 0 bids. A couple we got real close. I was pretty impressed with that, but just getting it right on, impossible. So, and especially the margins aren't great if you're working on 10, 15, 20% margins. And you're off by 10%, like, or God forbid you're off by 30%, you write a check for the privilege of doing that job, or you kind of have to be out of integrity and not keep your word. So the nice thing with, say you sell a $50,000 cleaning job or construction cleanup or piece of construction, just one-time work. All the time it takes to find that client, build a relationship, get a bid, put it out, get them to say yes, get them to pay, all the non-physical doing of the work is a lot of work. And you take a risk because you're like, I think it's going to cost me 25 grand. I'm going to bid 50, but maybe it costs 35. Rarely does it cost less sometimes, but you're just taking a big swing and then the job's over and there's really no relationship. And the work to sell a job for $4,000 a month or $50,000 a year that could go for 10, 20 years is the same, sometimes less. And if you make a mistake, month one, you just go, oh, I made a mistake. I've got to change the bid, or I'll give you 30, 40, 60 days at this price. And, but you can fix it. And you don't have to keep selling that job over and over and over again. You sell that job and you sell another. So if you just sell, $10,000, $50,000 jobs in a year, you've got $500,000 revenue and you're done. But if you sell 10 jobs making $4,000 a year, you don't lose any in the first year. You make $500,000 this year. And if you don't sell anything else, you get $500,000 every year till the end of time or until somebody quits. Like the numbers, it just goes from kind of multiplication to exponential, right? As opposed to I can do twice as many calls, twice as many whatever. And the risk goes way down. And you can get paid in advance, which is really hard to do on construction. So, all right, sorry to get way off on a tangent, but also God forbid, try and scaling that, right? Like if you've got people doing a construction cleanup job, and you're like, I need 70 hours a week for the next 4 weeks and I need nothing, or maybe I need 10 hours. You try hiring good quality people. That's homeless people that do that kind of work or day laborers. Yeah. Like it's really hard to scale.
And we're 3 hours away, by the way.
Oh, God forbid. God, yeah, it's another thing. $50,000 project.
Hotels.
Like, yeah. I'll go somewhere, or 100 grand. I'll go somewhere. I'll do that thing. But if it's janitorial, like, oh, I'm just going to get something close. So there's all this like baked in goodness for recurring, your clients, your margins, the thing, you can get better. That's why they sell for, 5, 10 times earnings as opposed to 1 or 2 times earnings in construction. There's a reason. People aren't dumb. They don't pay more just because they, software, it's a recurring expense, right? Okay. So that said, you reached out. How has things changed in your business? And give the good and the bad, right? We don't want just a sales project. Oh, that's the best. I called them and everything was perfect. Like that ain't the truth. Like some things were probably harder. Some things were better. Some things are worse. Like walk us through, your story.
Yeah. So, I joined and I'm like, you get self-help books and you do this stuff and you're like, oh, I know what I'm doing. That sounds good, but yeah, I'm going to do this instead. This was actually the first time where I was like, Mike's the professional. I'm just going to sell out and do what the hell he says. Right. And it's going to work. And just the paradigm shift, just even from just getting out in the field, like I'd be in the basement all day working with my guys. Like it's fun to be down there. You get the camaraderie, you get stuff done. You feel like tangible. But then you said to me on the call, like, well, who the hell is working on your business? And that just blew my mind because a lot of people were saying, like, I can't get you in a day. Like, I'm trying to reach you. Like, I can't. But it's like, I'm doing something dangerous. I'm not going to answer the phone. So I've been out, even on the construction
I'm sorry,
side.
Customer, I can't talk to you. I'm on a ladder in a basement. Like, I can't talk to you about growing my business. I got to do a light fixture or whatever the heck you're doing.
Yeah. And so even on the construction side, I've stayed out of the field more, and I've been able to get so much more work done. And
so let me ask, because you glossed over a really important thing. There is no shortage of fat guys that know I should eat less and work out more. Right. You said it really well, Irvin. Like I've read a lot of books and go, yeah, that makes sense, but I didn't do anything. And by the way, that's why we started the Clean Profit Method and started actually taking clients like that as a podcast. As much as I love it, a lot of people do exactly that. And you listen to the podcast, I'm guessing, before you talk to me. So there's a lot of that makes sense. Someone should do that in my business at some point, and then nothing changes. So what changed? I just, as a coach, as someone that loves professional development, after a guy who's read books and talked to smart people, and it's not like I'm the first person you ever talked to that knew something that, you're like, oh, I'll just listen. Like you had other smart people in your life, or like it didn't make the change. I'm dying to know why did you actually change as opposed to think it's a good idea and take no action?
I think it was a perfect storm. So there was a small chiropractor's office in a retail strip center that wanted cleaning, weekly cleaning. And I went in with my construction mind and put in a bid, and they never called me back. Then I'm like, so that was kind of like the first, like, oh, we could get a weekly thing. But I had no idea what I was doing.
Mhm.
So that didn't work. So I said, I want to get these cleaning contracts. I don't know how to do it. I'm good at business. Like, I need to reach out to someone who knows the business to help me grow. And just like from your podcast and things, I'm like, he knows what he's talking about. I've watched a lot, and I'm just I'm tired of doing things, working extremely hard, but always having to refill the barrel. Um, we're like approaching $500,000 in business this year in the construction side, but that's it. If I stop today,
Mhm.
there's
So
nothing.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I do want to make sure myself and the audience are hearing you right. What I hear you said is before you weren't able to connect whatever quote unquote the advice was to an overall outcome. And once you started realizing your pain of, I got, whether it's $500,000 or 5 million, it's not really a business, because once that work is done, if someone doesn't go do the next thing, I don't have a business. I just have sequential jobs one after another, or not, depending on who buys what. So
Mhm.
that pain led you to go, I need recurring revenue. And once you were able to go, I don't just want quote unquote coaching, I need this specific problem solved. Then you were able to go, okay, I'm going to find someone that I trust. Obviously, that goes, obviously you don't trust it. Nobody's going to listen to anything. So we're just going to assume
Mhm.
whoever, whether it's a book or a coach or whatever, you trust the guy, because obviously, or gal, if you don't trust them, then there's nothing to talk about. But you read books or talked to people you trusted before and didn't do it. Was the big thing that changed this time you were able to put it in the context of, I have a bigger vision I need. Like, had I come along, and I wouldn't know how to do this, but said, I can help you do, as opposed to $500,000 this year in construction one-time jobs, I can do $1 million. Trust me or not, you'd be like, that's not really solving the problem I wanted. I'm just trying to get clear on what the difference was. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm sure smart people that you trusted, you had told you stuff before you hadn't done. Was
Yeah.
this one because it fit into a larger narrative, or what made you actually take action?
I think it was more specific. So like when I was reaching out for other things, I had a million things I wanted to do.
Got
You
it.
know, I wanted to, open a bar, sell books online, or do a construction company. There was just so many avenues I had. But when I reached out to you, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to grow a cleaning company and get cleaning contracts. And
And how did
um,
you get that clarity? That's the big question. How did you go from wanting to do 1,000 things to being really clear on exactly what you wanted to do?
well, just over the last 3 years doing the construction, just like what was the most bang for the buck without, because you redo a kitchen, you're off schedule, supplies are out, cabinets are 6 months out to order, or, guys quit on you, your main contractor quits on you. And I left my good paying job 3 years ago to get out of the rat race. And I started feeling like I own this business and I'm still in the rat race. I'm working weekends. I'm working nights. I'm working in the morning. My phone's people are calling me all day long, all night. And at the end of
You
the
traded
day, it's like
your 40-hour a week job making 80K for an 80-hour a week job making 40K for yourself.
exactly. So I had that unique pain, but I also had the focus of the direction I wanted to go. So that pain and the direction came together to say, "Hey, I want to do this," and so it just aligned perfectly.
So I'm going to give one bit of feedback, and then I'm going to kind of let Irvin finish with whatever value he feels he can give you guys. So it's very common people come to us just like Irvin, which is circumstance, I don't say conspired, but it just worked out where they're like, okay, now I'm in pain. Before I was uncomfortable, or I didn't like it, or had a general sense of this could be better, but I was interested, not committed. And unfortunately, most of the journey from interested to committed town comes by way of pain, right? Sometimes it's pleasure, like, oh, things go good and I could really go better, but that's 10%. 90% of people come to us is like, I was uncomfortable before and now I'm flat up in pain. Now I want help. interesting how pain can bring focus, right? So Irvin was like, I got a bar, I want this, I want that. And the more he's like, I'm working nights and weekends. I thought I was gonna be free to spend time with my wife and kids. And I'm less free than I was before. Like the more he kind of got clear on the pain is what took him to where he wants to go. So the encouragement I give you guys is, and I've done that too, by the way, please don't hear me judging. I've been there, done that. That's why I know how frustrating it is. You don't have to wait. Like we're recording this December 2022. And I think a lot of people are like, all right, for the new year, I got to do, and like, don't wait for the new year or for whatever, like, or massive amounts of pain to go, I got to do it. You can decide. And again, there's a great way to get a coach. Doesn't even have to be a business coach, just somebody to help you get clear on what is it I really want and how committed I am to it. What would be the next step? You don't have to wait until the massive pain to take action, right? You can kind of, smart people learn from their mistakes or their pain. Smarter people learn from other mistakes, other people's mistakes and other people's pain. So you can kind of see how things could and should go and react based on that, as opposed to, no, I need to really be miserable before I try and get help. Like you could, but you could fast forward through some of that. Okay. So that said, in the last couple minutes here, Irvin, what's the biggest, we'll go both, the biggest challenge you've felt moving from one-time job, hamster wheel that sucks, to recurring, okay, I can actually build something. What's the biggest frustration? Like, that was harder than I thought. And then what's the biggest win or easiest thing, or like tip or trick you can kind of share for people wanting to make that transformation of like, okay, that did work and I like that. So give me kind of the best and the worst of you making this transition.
Okay. I think the hardest part was the people part. It's like, okay, well, now I'm focusing on this, and I have employees in the construction side, and I explained where I wanted to go, and they enjoy the construction, but me not so much. So just transitioning in the mindset, I would say, which was really funny, because the first week in the course, I'm like, mindset call. And it's really true, because you can get that information on how to do things, but a lot of it's mental. And, it's mental. It's like, I have a mental block, like, oh, this is hard, I can't do it, or, oh, I don't know how, or I don't want to, or it's scary, and just having the knowledge with the mindset work as well was instrumental. So I would say, like, the people and the mindset shift was kind of the hardest for me. But that was in the course, and, we got both.
So before we get into the easiest or the best part, let me just give something in there, because Irvin and I both obviously dudes, and we kind of dudes I found as a coach. Ladies are much more into like, yeah, I get, show me who I need to be first, and then I'll know what I need to do, and then I'll have what I want to have. Dudes are too dumb. We're like, just tell me what to do and everything will work out great. So we tend to want to skip that mindset stuff. So for those of you guys out, or gals, that are just like, mindset still sounds BS. I keep hearing it, but I don't even know what that means. That word for me, mindset's super squishy. I never know what it means. It was confusing to me. Beliefs, I think, would be a more powerful, like, if your belief is, and really that's what Irvin's been talking about this whole time. I had a belief that I could hit my goals with construction. And then I had a belief that a bar, 17 other things would do it. And then I had a belief, like, he just really upgraded his beliefs, and his beliefs aligned with his actions. So once he changed his belief, it was very easy for him to get focused and do what he needed to do. But when his beliefs were a mess, so if mindset makes you feel like, I don't know what the heck that means, how do I build a mind? What are we going to talk about? Beliefs. I want to believe things that are going to be effective, and I don't want to believe things that are not going to be effective. All right. So super helpful on that. I appreciate you saying that. Helps all the guys and gals out there. Like, yeah, don't tell me, just tell me what to do. I'll figure it out. It's like, if you have the wrong beliefs, if you believe money's evil, I can coach my butt off to you to grow your company. You ain't never going to have any success, right? You've got to change that belief. So that said, what about the biggest win? What was the easiest thing that you recommend? Like, oh, this worked. This is what you should all do. I like this part.
I think the easiest was my first two bids. I worked with mindset coach Suzanne because I had anxiety going in to bid for the cleaning jobs, but construction jobs, I just walk in. Like,
which is so funny, because you guys that don't know Irvin, he's a pretty confident dude. He's pretty charming. Like, if you had asked me, like, what would I be nervous about? I would have never thought bidding a cleaning job, especially since construction jobs are hard and scary. They're more competitive. You can make mistakes. Like, it's funny. I wouldn't have, knowing you, Irvin, I wouldn't have guessed that would have been the biggest scary thing. So what was so easy about it? What changed? What made it easy and great?
Just what you taught us about finding their pain. and it's even awkward because I just put all focus on them. I just wanted to know about them. Like, I didn't sell myself at all. What's your problem? What's going on? Like, what happened with your last cleaners? Like, what do you hate to do? Like, are you guys cleaning yourself? And they're like, I hate this. And I found after the end of those pain conversations, they were like, where do I sign? I love this guy. And that's what I focused on, was those pains. So what I was scared to do and had anxiety about to do going in on these first ones became the easiest thing to do. So now I just want to get in front of everybody I can to find that pain.
And did you guys hear? That goes right back to beliefs, right? I had a belief it was going to be scary and weird and they weren't going to like me and it was going to suck because you did that one chiropractic bid and they ghosted you and it felt bad. So that was the belief. And then you change your belief from I'm a sales guy trying to get them to give me money, which, because you're a sweet guy, that's not probably really who you are, to I'm just here to help. And if I end up being the best solution for them, of course we'll work together. And if not, that's fine. I'm not trying to sell them anyway. I'm just trying to help them. And you're like, but that feels really good. I could do that all day long.
I could do that. Yes. Yeah. It's like, and if they say no, they don't want my help.
Right. So much better. So much better. So much better. Oh, I needed money and they said no. And it's like this personal rejection. It's like, I'm here to get clear on the pain, what's going wrong in your life, and help you come up with a solution. And if we're a part of that solution, great. We'll help you. And if we're not a part of that solution, I'll try and point you some other direction. And if I think we're part of that solution and you don't, your loss. I'll go help somebody else. Like, it's such a freeing place to be for both, right? The buyer doesn't feel like you're pushing anything. He's like, this guy's really got my back, because you're going to have everyone else is just like, what's your budget? How long? Time frames? Blah, blah, blah. You're like, tell me about you, man. Tell me what's going on. What made you call? What's stressing you out? I love that. Love coachable guys like Irvin. All right. Clean Nation, if this has been super helpful and you want more, growmycleaningcompany.com. There's nothing for sale. There are over 800 podcasts, free on-demand training, Facebook group, all sorts of manner of stuff to grow your business, growmycleaningcompany.com. Check it out. See you there. Well, here we are, the end of the podcast, and you made it. Great job. I've got a little bonus for you for sticking through with me, but like I mentioned before, if you got value out of this podcast and you want to show a little love, subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Spotify, wherever the heck you're listening to this thing. Share it with a friend, share the love. And as a special thank you for those of you that stuck with me to the end, how about I give you my personal phone number so we can text? It's a great way for me to get to know you, your business, your goals personally. So shoot me a text now, 602-932-6431. That's 602-932-6431. I am the only one who responds to these texts, and I will personally respond to everyone I possibly can as long as this number is manned. Don't know how long we're going to keep this at the end of the podcast, so grab it now, 602-932-6431. Give me a text, say hey, can't wait to meet you.